Recognizing the divine. Dear friends, in the Gospel for today's liturgy, Jesus shares with Philip his disappointment. Have I been with you, Philip, all this time, and still you do not know me? It is true that many of the disciples lived with Jesus for a long time, but they did not understand him. They saw the miracles he performed and listened to his powerful teaching, yet they could not grasp his true identity, his divine identity. Jesus had to often emphasize his true identity. To have seen me is to have seen the Father. The husband and wife were returning from the funeral of Uncle George, who had lived with them for over 25 years. He was a difficult character to live with, so much so that he almost succeeded to break up the marriage of the couple. On the way home, the husband told his wife, "If it were not for my love for you, darling, I should have thrown out your uncle out of my house long ago." The surprised wife retorted, "What do you mean by your uncle? All these years I thought that George was your uncle. We can live under the same roof for years, yet not know really with whom we are really living." This was the experience of Jesus too. Hence, Jesus had to ask the disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" Due to this ignorance among the disciples, there were many misunderstandings among them, infighting for positions of power and greed for money, etc. Many abandoned him. Jesus again clarifies his true identity to his skeptic disciples. "Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father in me?" They failed to recognize the divine presence of the Father in Jesus and his deep intimacy with him. Jesus is inviting us to recognize the divine presence in us and his intimacy with us and with everyone. Resurrection is an experience which compels us to go beyond the limitations of our physical senses, the superficial layer of our existence, and taste the deep truths about ourselves and about others. Christ is all and in all, declared Paul, as a consequence of his deep encounter with the risen Christ. The resurrected Christ challenges us all to answer this fundamental question: who am I? We need to go beyond the definitions and labels formed by the impermanent and fleeting world situations surrounding us. Can we recognize and accept the divine presence within us, that we are made in the image and likeness of God, that the Spirit of God dwells within us, that we are holy in spite of our sinfulness and weakness? How do we relate to others? Are we able to recognize the divine in them too? Or are they victims of our egoic judgments and evaluations? In the light of the resurrection, the disciples were able to understand who Jesus is, who they truly are, and to authentically evaluate the world in which they live. Elizabeth Barrett Browning says, "Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God. But only he who sees takes off his shoes. The rest sit around and pluck blackberries." Are we satisfied with the blackberries? or shall we move deeper into the divine presence in and around us? May God bless you.